I would never move to Utah without watching this video. So you're thinking about moving to Utah, exploring the option. Well, let's talk about the 8 most common questions that we get when people are relocating to Utah. This is the ultimate guide of moving to Utah. So the first one is, where are the affordable cities in terms of moving? So in this concept, we're going to talk about the northern part of Utah where most of the population lives, which is called the Wasatch Front. That is in counting Salt Lake City, Utah County, which is Provo, Orem, and the Davis County area. So the major area of where people live here in Utah. So the most affordable areas in Salt Lake County are going to be on the west side of I-15. So when you're looking at homes, that's homes like Riverton, South Jordan, West Jordan, Magna. They're all going to be on the west side of I-15 in Salt Lake County. Now, when we're talking about Utah County, which is a county just below Salt Lake County, that is going to be the Eagle Mountain, Saratoga area, which is also on the west side of the freeway and of the lake. And then the areas of Spanish Fork, Payson, and Santaquin, they are at the bottom of Utah County. That is where the most affordable cities are in Utah County. And when it comes to Davis County, similar thing, you're going to have the most affordable homes on the west side of I-15. So we're talking about Syracuse and Layton. So when you're shopping, if you kind of look at the map, anything on the west side is going to be a little more affordable, but one perk is it's all going to be a little bit newer because that area was established later in the time frame and history of Utah. So you get a little bit newer home and a little more affordable. So the next question we get very often is, should I buy a resale home or new construction? The beauty of new construction is you get new. The downfall of new construction is you are going to have to be a little further out from the metro areas of the county that you're looking to live in. Because Utah was established a long time ago, most of the homes that are more established or resell are going to be closer to the core. So if you want to be in Salt Lake, if you want to be in Provo, those are going to be older homes. To get a newer new construction home, you're going to have to go further out. Perks of new construction is you have more options when it comes to what you're looking for in terms of the home style. You get to pick the finishes, you get to pick the floor plan, and you get to pick the lot in the neighborhood. Right now, we don't have a ton of inventory in terms of existing homes, so it's kind of hit or miss, pick what you want, but there's pros and cons to buying new or resale, and thankfully we specialize in both. Now, if you are more interested in Utah, make sure you like and subscribe so you're getting everything living and playing in Utah. The third question I want to talk about is, what are the insurance costs living in Utah? Utah is known for our wonderful snow, but does that affect your homeowner's insurance? The great news is it does not. Because of the snow, we have pitched roofs where they are designed to handle the weight of snow, and the snow is going to fall off. Occasionally you'll see the flat roofs, and that'll change a little on your premium, but when you're house shopping, these houses were built for Utah's weather, so they handle it really well. One thing, because we're in a desert, we don't have a ton of flood zones, so we don't end up having a lot of flood insurance when it comes to buying your home, but you do want to make sure you check if it's in a flood zone before you buy, because that will make your insurance more expensive. Another thing about homeowners insurance in Utah is earthquake insurance is not a standard inclusion when it comes to homeowners insurance. That's an additional premium you need to add. And earthquakes are the biggest concern of Utah because we do have a very large fault line that goes from Salt Lake to the Utah County area that is expected to shake at some point, but at this point in my whole life, we've talked about it and it hasn't happened yet. But that is one that a lot of people have extra on their homes just to be safe, because we do have that potential of a major earthquake. Other insurance that would be important living here in Utah is a sewer line insurance, because most of our subdivisions are tied into the city sewer lines, and we do have trees that will get into your sewer line. So when you are talking to your insurance agent, make sure that you have sewer line insurance added to it. And then the last one is wet and dry rot. We are a pretty dry state, so you're not going to have a lot of issues with moisture getting into your property, but water damage is one of the biggest things that insurance is there for, and you want to make sure you're properly covered for insurance. Number 4 on the list of the most commonly asked questions is, what type of jobs are there in Utah? Utah has a very diverse and healthy economy, so there's a lot of job opportunity. Our biggest employer is education in terms of college education, local education. We have a very young population, which lends to having a education background, but we also have a lot of manufacturing, and we have a lot of tech, and we have a lot of healthcare. So really, if there's any industry you're interested in, we have options. We also have a lot of construction, so any type of home building or commercial building, there's plenty of opportunities in the job sector here in Utah. And one of the big perks of Utah is it's very diverse, so there's a lot of opportunities. The whole area is not going to be shut down if one plant goes down, because there's plenty of opportunities. Because of our young population, we are actually continually attracting more and more businesses to Utah because they like the highly educated and young workforce that we have. So Utah's projection in terms of job and economy has a positive growth. Number 5 on the list is walkable. Unfortunately, Utah is not a terribly walkable state. You are going to have a car if you're going to live in Utah, because there's not a lot of opportunities to get from one point to another with public transportation or walking. Now, there are a few cities that have some walkable, and we're working on it. Currently, the most walkable is probably going to be South Jordan, and it's a community called Daybreak, and they have shops and they have walkability within it, but it's not massively walkable. It does have a connection to the track station, which can get you to downtown or to the Front Runner or to the airport, so it's probably one of the more walkables. We do have a new city that is being built currently that is supposed to be a 15-minute city where you can get everything you need where you live, and that is in Utah County in a city called Vineyard, and they are naming it Utah City is the subdivision. So that is currently going in and being built, and then there's another city being built at the point of the mountain in Draper that is going to be the exact same. So it used to be where the prison was, it's been completely removed, and they're going to make that a walkable city. So we have potential and growth, but there's not a ton of walkable. A couple more areas that you might want to explore is Sugar House, Utah, and Provo, Utah. Both of them have close living quarters to some of the shopping areas. Number 6 on the list is schools. So schools is one that, as a realtor, I haven't had to spend a ton of time researching, because overall Utah has a lot of good schools mixed in the subdivisions, a lot of opportunity, and we have open enrollment, so you can go to different schools based off of your criteria. As we've had more and more people move to Utah, that has become a higher priority. And when searching for school, probably the most important thing I would have you look at is the student to teacher ratio. We have very large families here in Utah, so we have a lot of kids in certain areas. So when you're looking, look to see how many teachers there are versus how many students. But a good rule of thumb when you're thinking about looking at good schools is schools on the east side of I-15 in Utah County, Salt Lake County, and Davis County are going to be higher rated in terms of great schools. Number 7 on the list is what is there to do in Utah? Utah is beautiful, and it has a lot of national parks. We are number 3 on the list of national parks after California and Alaska, so there is a lot going on if you like the outdoors. Next is we are known for our snow. We have amazing ski resorts here in Utah that you can get out and test the fresh powder, and it's fantastic. Along with the beauty, we have Utah Lake and Salt Lake, and the Great Salt Lake is actually a saltwater lake, the only saltwater lake in the country, and you can go out and sail on it. I wouldn't recommend swimming. It's not great for swimming, but sailing is beautiful. If you're into sports, we have a Major League Basketball team. There was just announced a new baseball stadium that's being built with hopes of attracting a Major League Baseball team, fingers crossed. We also have a Major League Soccer team, so plenty of opportunity to get out and enjoy the sports. In terms of arts, we have a great art program. We have a local program called the Hale Center Theater that has multiple stages and locations that put on great productions. We also get Broadway shows at the Eccles Theater, and we get traveling comedians and musicians that come and use the Delta Center for their venue, so plenty of opportunity to have the big national entertainment come to you. An interesting thing about Utah is because of the LDS Church, they send people on missions. The people go to missions, fall in love with the food, and they bring it back. So we have a very diverse opportunity when it comes to food options here in Utah. Even though we're in the middle of the country, there's a lot of fun cuisines when it comes to restaurants. Unique thing about Utah is almost all of our cities have some type of cities founders day where they're going to have a carnival and a parade and a theme. So it's a lot of fun each month or each week to go see what city is putting something on and go explore their parades and their carnivals. We also have the Days of 47 Rodeo, which is a big national rodeo in Salt Lake, and we have what's called the Stadium of Fire in Provo, where we have a fantastic fireworks show, and they always bring in world-class entertainers for the Stadium of Fire. And if we're talking about Davis County, we have the Hill Air Force Base that has a free museum where you can go see all of the planes. Our kids absolutely love it. And the last question is, what is the weather like? The weather is awesome. We get all 4 seasons, sometimes in a week, but it is the best. We have amazing snow, we have beautiful springs, we have nice warm summers, and beautiful crisp fall. So we get fall leaves, we get the pumpkins, all the feels of fall, but you get to enjoy all 4 seasons all year round. The snow is not as bad as it appears. It's beautiful. There's a couple times a year where maybe you don't want to go to work or you want to delay when you get out on the road. But overall, Utah with the snow has a great plowing system, and they really know how to manage the snow. So it's not as big of a deal as it is in other states, because when it happens, we're prepared and we're ready for it. In the summer, it does get hot, but our heat is dry. It's not humid, so it might be 113, but it's not gonna melt you and you aren't going to burn yourself being outside too long. We are the 2nd or 3rd driest state. I don't actually remember the real stat, but we are dry and it is a desert, even though it doesn't look like it. If you want to know more in depth about neighborhoods or communities, reach out. We would love to guide you through the process. We are local native Utahns and have been here our whole life, many, many generations, and we'd love to help you explore Utah.